Hi there, and welcome to yet another Affiliate Hustle live training. So welcome everybody. Today we are going to talk about bidding strategies when it comes to native ads. All right, so we will be talking about what would be the ideal bid, how you can increase the bid if you need to, and when would be the right timing, because we receive a lot of questions about this. All right, so I've got my spreadsheet open, ready to go with all kinds of formulas already in there, so that we can basically get started very quick, and that it basically resembles one of your campaigns. It could resemble one of your campaigns. Okay, so there are a couple things very important for any newcomers, any new media buyers. I'm going to walk through these variables real quick, just to be clear, so that everybody is on the same page and that we know for sure that everybody understands what we're talking about. So the CPM is the cost per mile, aka the cost per 1,000 impressions. All right. And that already brings us to the next one, which is impressions. So impressions is the amount of times or the amount of users that have seen your ad. So each time your ad gets delivered to a user, that will count as one impression. Then we have the ICTR, which is the image click-through rate. So the percentage of users that has seen your ad and actually clicked on it. And when they clicked on it, they will visit your landing page and thus become a visit. So the visits are the amount of people that have seen your landing page. Then we have the click-through rate. So the click-through rate is the percentage of users that went from your landing page to the offer page. And when they've done so and they click through to your offer page, they will also be counted as a click. So the clicks are the users that have landed on your offer page. Then we have the CR, the conversion rate. So what percentage of users that have seen your offer page actually bought something. And when they bought something, obviously they will count as conversions. And then they will bring in revenue, of course. And if you take out the ad spend, you will have the profit. And we're definitely going to talk a lot about ROI as well. All right. So the ROI, by the way, is return on ad spend, of course. All right, good. So now everybody is up to speed. We're all at the same page. If anything is still unclear in this list, please let me know so that I can explain you, just to make sure that we're all on one page. And on the right, by the way, we have the campaign status, right? The campaign settings. So the CPA is the payout, basically. So the amount of money that you receive for each conversion. And the daily budget, obviously, is your budget per day. And the spend, we will talk about spend as well today. And when we talk about spend today, we will be talking about the daily spend. All right, very important. Okay, so let's sketch a scenario and see what we're gonna do with these numbers and, of course, with our bidding strategy. Okay. So let's say we have an offer with a CPA of $50, all right? So the CPA is $50. We decide on a daily budget of $250. Let me make this in dollars as well. And let's see. We're gonna work with a CPM of, let's start with 50 cents. Whoops, not $5, 50 cents. There we go. So the daily spend is going to be 100 just for the starters. It's also Faluda. Okay. So we have a daily budget of $250 in this scenario. All right. However, the spend is $100. So this is indicating that we do not spend our completely daily budget. Okay. So we have a CPM of 50 cents. So 50 cents with that $100 is 200 impressions. All right. Let's actually get this down a little bit more just to give ourselves a little bit more room. So we have 400 impressions for that $100. The ICTR, let's give it a nice 30%. Quite high, but just for the sakes of this example, we're going to set it on 30%, just because it's a little bit easier to see what happens in the flow. All right. So the click-through rate, so we have 120 visits on this day, and the click-through rate, let's say, is 40%. All right. That means we have 48 clicks. And let's say we have a conversion rate of 11%. All right. So then the conversion will obviously be 5 round. But maybe we do 10. No, right. 10 and a half. All right, good enough. Close to the 5. All right, perfect. So we have 5 conversions, revenue of 250, 252, and a profit of 152, giving us a ROI of 152%. Right? Cool. All right. So what is happening? Our spend is not spending completely. However, because we have this ridiculous low CPM, ridiculous high ICTR and CTR and CR, we're still making profits. So this is not a thing that you would see quite often with your campaigns. And if you do, congratulations, you are an amazing media buyer. But we're just going to play around with this. All right. So our CPM is 25 cents right now, and we notice that we do not spend our complete budget, right? We're only spending $100 per day, and our daily budget is $250, which means that we have a lot of space left with which we can basically get more data. And as you might know by now, data is the key with affiliate marketing. We do never want to make emotion-based decisions. All our decisions that we make during our campaign are going to be data-driven decisions. However, to make data-driven decisions, you need as much data as possible, because the more data you have, the more stabilized it is, so the more reliable it is. All right? So we need to make sure that we get as much data as we can. How do you get as much data as you can? By making sure you spend your complete daily budget, for starters. All right? So we notice, okay, we have a daily budget of $250 for this campaign. It's been running for a couple of days, but our daily spend is only $100. We need to spend that daily budget, so we need more data. So what are we going to do? We are going to increase the CPM. All right? By increasing the CPM, you are paying a little bit more for your traffic. However, you will also win more auctions, so-called, right? Win more bids. Let's actually get that one in here as well. So we have win rates. So the win rate is the percentage of impressions that you have won, the percentage of bids that you have won compared to the overall bids that you have done. All right. So let's say the win rate currently is 12%, right? So we're winning 12% of the overall traffic with our CPM of 25 cents. All right. So we want to make sure that we spend more of our daily budget. So we are going to increase our bid. Okay. So we are increasing our bids to, let's say, I would take it like 10% at a time. So I would right now go to probably 7.5, somewhere in that area. To make it a little bit easier, we're going to go with 28. All right. So we now have a bid of 28. So since we are now winning more traffic, so this will probably go up like towards 18 or something, somewhat like that. And because we're winning more of those bids and we have a higher bid, this spend will go up. So let's say it goes up to 175, it goes up, we're happy because we're closer to our daily budget, but it's still not spending our complete daily budget. Okay, so what are we going to do? We are going to do this once again. So we're going to increase the CPM to, let's say, another 10%. So it's probably going to be around 30. All right. There we go, which means that our win rate will increase once again as well. Let's say we have 22% now, and the spend goes to 250. All right, cool. So now we are spending our complete daily budget. Perfect, right? And we're now getting 833 impressions. Perfect. And you can follow the whole flow here. So right now with this flow, we are making $275, and that is 110% of our ROI. All right. And if we take it back a little bit, right here at the start, when we only had $100 in spend, our ROI was much higher, 152%, right? Thought that was going to work, but apparently not. 152 cents. Since we up this, and we up this as well, the ROI will go down, all right? But do not worry, because that's all part of the flow. And we'll get to that in just a second. But look at the profit though. So right here, the profit was 152 as well. Makes sense. 152, I'll put it here in dollars. So that is our profit, right? This one should be here. With the $100 spent, we had a profit of 152. So let's go back to 250 with the, what was it, 30 cents. And this was, by the way, it doesn't matter a whole lot, but this was like up to 18 or something. So right now we are making more profit with a lower ROI, all right? And that is one of the key mind patterns, I want to say, thought patterns that you got to have, where a lot of media buyers are focused on ROI, return on investment only. But the ROI is very nice, and of course you want it to be in the green. That's very important. But don't fixate yourself on this ROI, because as you see, even during the time where we need to get our spend up to our daily budget, the profit goes up even though the ROI goes down. All right. And personally, I rather have more profit and less ROI than the other way around, right? So during that time, make sure you focus on the profit in the end and not on the ROI, especially if your spend goes up, even if your daily budget stays the same. Okay, all right, new scenario. So we're gonna work from here, all right? So we have a campaign, and that campaign has a CPM of 30 cents, a win rate of 18%. So we have about 833 impressions. ICTR stays the same. 250 visits, 40% CTR, 100 clicks, 11% CR, 10.5 conversions. Let's say it's an upsell or something. Then we have a revenue of $525 and a profit of $275, giving us 110% ROI. Okay. So when this is the scenario, a lot of media buyers will say, look at that. That win rate is only 18%. I've got this very profitable campaign. I've got an ROI over 100%. I'm making good profit, but my win rate is so low. So what are a lot of media buyers going to do? They think, okay, my win rate is low, so I have to increase my bid so that I win more of those bids. All right, so they're going to up this. Let's do 20% this time. So we're going to go to 36 cents. Okay, your win rates might go up a bit. So it's probably like 20 or something. But that is not the most important part here, because what happens, our ROI has gone down to 75%, and our profit is only 188 now. All right, where with our previous bid, we had a profit of 275. How is that possible? And how can I increase my win rate when it's down here? All right, here it comes, right? We have this daily budget of $250. Currently, it is spending $250 as well, meaning that there is no room to get more traffic, right? If we're spending our complete daily budget, then there's nothing left to get additional traffic. So what happens if we increase the if we increase the CPM, we're gonna bid higher, right? We're gonna pay more for the impressions that we bid on, all right? But there's no more room in our daily budget. So that 250 now gets spent on 694 impressions because the CPM is higher. However, with our previous CPM, we were getting more impressions because we're paying less per impression, all right? And because there is no room in the daily budget anyway, it doesn't make sense to start paying more, all right? So very important, if your daily budget is spent completely, do not increase any bids. It just doesn't make sense. What you're doing is bidding more on the same traffic, but you're burning out on your daily budget, so you get less traffic. Meaning that less traffic means less visits, less clicks, less conversions, less revenue, less profit, less ROI. So it's never a good idea to increase your bids if you don't have any room in your daily budget, okay? However, what you might want to consider is dropping the CPM a bit, all right? It's really gonna depend, and I wouldn't do it with a win rate of 18%, maybe slightly, but in general, nah. Whoops, we had a different bid, doesn't matter. Okay, but let's say we have a win rate of 85%, right? So that 30-cent bid is getting us 85% of the traffic, okay? However, we're still spending our complete daily budget, as you can see, right? We're still spending 250 out of 250. So what I might do now is decrease my CPM. I'm already spending my complete daily budget, all right? And for my complete daily budget with my CPM, I've got a very high win rate and I've got 833 impressions. So this high win rate suggests me that there are a lot of media buyers out there that are bidding less because I am outbidding them right now. All right. And since I am spending my complete daily budget, what I might want to do is decrease the CPM with like 20%. So to 20% is 25. So then it will be 25. And what happens then is I'm getting more impressions. Of course, this win rate will probably drop to like 65% or something, which is fine. Completely logical because we're winning less of the bids because there are some people spending more than us, bidding more than us. So the win rate drops, but it's no problem because we are getting more impressions, which means at the end, we're making more profit and more ROI, right? It's basically the same as increasing the bid when you're not spending your daily budget, but then the other way around. So if you're spending your complete daily budget and your win rate is very high, you might want to take it down a little bit so that you can get more traffic for the same price. Okay? All right. So what is next? All right. 100%. This is an extreme, but 100% win rate. When you have a 100% win rate, or basically a 90+%, then you definitely want to tone it down a little bit, right? If you are, especially if it's 100, if you are winning 100% of the traffic, that means you're outcompeting everybody. Everybody that is bidding on that specific placement, you are outbidding. So if you're having a win rate of 100% or close to 100%, down your CPM so that you can get more traffic for the same amount. Okay? All right. What is next? So we have discussed that. So yeah. let's up this daily budget. So we have 500 our daily budget. Our spend is 250. Okay, let's tone this win rate down to like 5%. All right. Let's see. By the way, if you do have any questions, feel free to drop them down below in the comments. Oh, I see Ross is here. Welcome, Ross. Does the win rate correlate to where the widget will place on a site? In example, your image is much lower on the site. What do you mean with the image is much lower on the site? I don't really get that part of the question. But does the win rate correlate to where the widget will place on a site? No. Basically, what happens is we have the source. I've got the native name for it, and then we have the widget, right? So the source is the website itself. So that is the website that is basically having all these different these widgets on their website, okay? And when you are bidding on a widget level, most likely. So the win rate is just the percentage of bids that you've won compared to the bids that you've done on that specific widget. Or you can look at it on a source level or on a campaign level, which will give you the average, right? However, I recommend to look at it at a widget level so that you can see where there's more competition and where there's less competition, and you can correlate those prices. But the win rate is just telling you how much of the bids you've competed in you've actually won, and it doesn't have any effect on where your ad is going to show. So where your ad is going to show is really going to depend on which widgets you still have on. Basically, the widget is the placement on the website itself. Okay, hope that makes sense. And if you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to let me know. So that's actually a good one. So let's say this is the campaign, right? So these are the overall, the average settings of your campaign. And then we're going to create one for the widget as well. So widget 1 and widget 2. They both have the same bid. That's quite common, right? We have usually a global bid for our campaign, and only later in the optimization we're gonna twitch and tweak on these CPMs. All right. So let's say the average win rate is 50%, and we'll do 100 here and 2% here. Okay. All these formulas didn't transfer, but that's all right. So let's see. Okay, I'm gonna copy this real quick just to make sure that all these work fine. Oh, that's actually right. That's actually right as well. That is right. So the only thing that needs to be adjusted is this one. Am I saying that right? Yeah, okay. All right, so this is going to be, whoops. My bad, 1 second, guys. That one is separated by that one. Perfect. Is that one separated by that one. Perfect. Okay, so now the rest should also follow. Except for these. These are kind of off right now, but that doesn't really matter. So what happens right now is we have two of the same bits on two different widgets, and we have the same bit on these two widgets and two different win rates. All right. So the impressions are not going to be the same. Most likely you will get more here. So like 2,000 here and only 5 here or something like that. All right. But what happens right now with these win rates? Because we have a 50% campaign overall win rate. It's good to take that in consideration, how much you are winning on a campaign level. However, we always want to take in consideration what these widgets are doing themselves. Because if this widget 1 is just quality-wise terrible, right? If the traffic on this widget that's coming through is terrible, then probably will reflect here, will reflect here, and will reflect here. However, if the traffic is not good, then in your optimization phase, you are gonna eliminate it, right? We all know the native ad CPA rule, and there are definitely more media buyers that know the native ad CPA rule or use any kind of other optimization rule for themselves. So when they notice that widget 1 in this case is not performing well, they will stop spending on that specific widget, which means that the average bid on this widget will go down, which also means that with our 25-cent CPM bid, we might get more traffic now because all the other media buyers turned it off. But the fact that we have 100% win rate should already ring a bell in our head saying, something is going wrong here. I can get this traffic cheaper, all right? So what are we going to do with widget 1? We are going to decrease this bid so that we don't get as much traffic as we did, all right? So I'm not going to turn it off based on the fact that I have 100% win rate with a bid that somewhere else gets me 2%, because it may be the case that the quality is shitty and there's no competition, hence the prices are low. That may be the case, but we don't know. We need proof to say, okay, this is really shitty traffic, because it could also be that this widget is working perfectly and the audience on this widget is exactly what you need for your specific offer. Then it would be a shame to assume that the traffic quality is bad based on a high win rate. All right, we always want to test it ourselves. So we always gonna follow the native ads CPA rule. However, we don't want 100% win rate. So we are going to down that bit a little bit so that we don't get every single piece of traffic that's coming through through this widget. And then as soon as we have enough impressions and spent, we still follow the CPA rule, and we might turn it down or not, but we'll have to see. All right, so this one is going down because the win rate was too high. On this one, widget 2, we have a very low win rate. I'm sorry. So widget 2 has a very low win rate. However, we still want to test widget 2 just like we wanted to test widget 1. So we need to increase this win rate. So what are we going to do? We are going to up the bid, unless you are spending your complete daily budget, right? So if my spend is 500 out of 500 for my daily budget, then it's very unfortunate that I have a win rate of 2%, but I'll have to do with it, all right? And perhaps by decreasing the bid on widget 1, I'll have some more space in my budget tomorrow, but for now, I'm not gonna touch this because it doesn't make sense, like we just saw a couple minutes ago. All right. However, we in this case still have room. We are spending 250 out of our daily budget of 500. So we can increase this bid a bit. All right. So let's move it up to 30 cents. And now, for example, we have 4% win rate. All right. So that is still not going to be enough, of course, right? We actually want it to be somewhere around that 60%, just like on widget 1, but we're getting there, right? We're seeing that we're having a higher win rate with a slightly higher bid, so we will just need to continue to do this until either our win rate is in a healthy zone or we're spending our complete daily budget, all right? But do it gradually. All right, if we're coming from a 25 cents bid, what I see some marketers do is increase it to 50 or even increase it to 75 cents while we're coming from that 25 cents. All right, now this may get you a very nice win rate, but 9 out of 10 times what will happen is this. So once again, this is a waste of money. You're bidding so high that you're going to spend a lot of money on this widget compared to the rest of the widgets. You're getting all the traffic, so you're overpaying for your traffic, and you will reach your daily budget pretty quick. All right. So instead, what we're going to do, what I always recommend, is take steps of 10, maybe 15 and 20%. All right. So you use 10 as a standard increase, all right? So if we're just starting this campaign and we notice we have 2% win rate, I'm gonna up it with 10%. So that will bring us to, okay, fair, 28 cents. All right, we upped it 10%. However, if nothing is happening to the win rate, or it's so slight, just 1%, for example, then we might say, okay, we're gonna do another 10, maybe 15%, all right? So I would up this to 30, all right? Now, that might get us 4% win rate. Still not where we want it to be. So then in that case, we might say, this is a tough widget. I'm going to do 20% this time, all right? So 20%, and then it will start to increase a little bit faster, right? So that is the way to do it. I would not go with steps higher than 20%, even if you have to do it each and every day for like a month going on, because if you're doing it too fast, you're overspending on way too expensive traffic, and we don't want to do that. So I'd rather stretch out my testing period a little bit, because I'm not generating the traffic as fast as I can because I'm not spending my daily budget. Rather that than overspending for specific traffic, because I thought, well, my win rate has to go up. I'm gonna up it with 100% my bid, right? So I'd rather stretch out my testing period than that I overpay for my traffic, okay? And hence why we want to take steps of 10 to tops 20% per time when we are increasing the CPM to increase the win rate. But I'm gonna repeat this one more time because it's very important. Do not increase the bid when you're already spending your daily budget, all right? Doesn't make sense. You're not getting more traffic, you're actually getting less traffic because you're paying more, but your budget stays the same, okay? All right, so what else? What else? We've discussed the win rates. So, oh yeah, that's a good one. We're gonna talk about the golden rule. So the golden rule of media buying, all right? Golden rule. I'm gonna type this out because it's very important. When you scale, ROI goes down, all right? When you scale, ROI goes down, all right? And I'm gonna show you right away. When you scale, we have to increase the CPM. Let's say this is indeed our daily budget. We were spending $250. That was our daily budget before, but now we're going to start the scaling period. So we increased our daily budget so that we can spend more as well. Okay. So what are we going to do? We can spend more, so we want this win rate to increase. The higher the win rate, the better, because we have already optimized our campaign. We know it's working. We know which creative to use. We know which landing page to use. We know which offer page to use if we have a choice there. So we have optimized everything. Every single part has been optimized, so it is time to scale and get as much out of this campaign as possible. Okay, we had 152 as ROI. I'm gonna write that down real quick, and let's write down the profit as well. Okay, we're gonna increase the CPM. So we are gonna go to let's keep 10 to 20%, right? So let's do 10% first. There we go. And now our ROI has already decreased to 129%. It seems like our profit has decreased, but that's actually not true because we are having a higher bid. That means that our win rate will go up as well, so probably around 60%. And our spend goes up because we're increasing the bid. We're also winning more bids, and thus we are spending more as long as there's still room. So this will probably go up to 350 or something, right? And now you can see, okay, the ROI has decreased from 152 all the way back to 129. However, the profit has increased, okay? So basically, I'm going to make this very extreme, but it's still very much true. I would rather have 10% ROI on $1,000, let's make it $10,000, than 11% ROI or 110% ROI on $100, all right? Because if I have 10% ROI on this 10,000, then I would have 11,000, right? However, when I have 110% ROI on $100, I would have, let me calculate that real quick. I don't know if I'm saying this right, and I don't want to, wait, we can just do this, right? That's times that. Oh, this is actually exactly the same. All right, so if we have 10% ROI on $10,000 or 100% ROI on $100, okay? So the ROI doesn't really matter here because in the end, it's about the profit and it's not about the ROI, right? It's about the profit. Very important. When you scale, ROI goes down, but ROI is not the most important metric because in the end, what we want, why are we in this online marketing niche? Why are we doing affiliate marketing? To make money, all right? And in the end, it's more important how much money you receive from your affiliate network than how much percent ROI you have. So ROI is a great indicator to see how your campaign is performing and to keep eyes on spend, profit, revenue, that kind of stuff. But in the end, especially during scaling, it's not important as long as it's in a healthy zone, all right? Because you can also drag your campaign into a loss by increasing by scaling too early. And I'm going to show you that as well. Okay, cool. So let's say our ICTR is only 10%. Oh, we're already in the red. Okay, at 20%. The CTR is 30%, and the conversion rate is 10%. All right, cool. So we have a new campaign. Let's say we spend 500. So we're spending our complete daily budget on this campaign. And let's see what happens. We have a CPM of 28 cents. Win rate of 60%, that's fine. 1,818 impressions per day, 20% ICTR, 363 visits per day, 30% CTR, 109 clicks per day. 10% conversion rate is 11 conversions, is a revenue of 545, and we have a profit of $45 per day because we are spending 500. So we have a ROI of 9.9%. So what are we going to do? If you think that, you know what? I'm making profit. I optimized it a little bit. Let's scale it. All right. So let's see what happens. Actually, the spend needs to be down a bit because otherwise it wouldn't make sense to scale. Or what we can do is increase this to 1,000, right? To give our daily budget, increase our daily budget so that we can increase our spend as well. That's also definitely possible. So what we're going to do, we want to spend more money now because we want to scale. So we are going to increase the CPM, all right? We're going to increase the bid. So let's say we're going to do 33 cents now. That will increase our spend to 750, let's say. However, what happens? We just dragged our campaign into the red. We just made ourselves from profitable to unprofitable without any other influence, right? We use the same creatives, we use the same landing page. The ICTR, CTR, and conversion rate all stay the same. However, our bid goes up. And when our bid goes up, like we discovered today, that's going to mean that we're paying more for the impressions, of course. And when we're paying more, but all the other metrics stay the same, means that the return on investment is going to be lower because we're investing more with the same results. Okay, so that's how you can drag your campaign into the negatives. So what would be the right way to go? Okay, so if this is the situation and you feel like you want to scale, what would be the right way to go? If you have any clue, if you feel like, I would do this, please let me know in the comments. If not, I'm going to give you the answer in just a second. So what are we going to do if we want to scale this campaign? We just saw that if we increase the bid to get more traffic, what happens is we're not making a profit anymore. So we do not want to scale this campaign. But what do we want to do? How can we scale this campaign? I don't see any comments yet, so I am going to give you the answer. To scale this campaign with an ROI at around 9%, you need to optimize first. All right. You might think, I optimized it, I'm profitable, this is great. But with a ROI of 9%, it is not optimized enough to start scaling, because then you will drag yourself to the negative. So we cannot scale. We cannot scale when the ROI is not at a good margin, basically. All right. So what do we need to do? We're going to optimize even more, right? Maybe split test new lenders, split test new creatives, etc. We need to get these key metrics on point, right? So let's say the ICTR, we're going to split test a bunch of new creatives and we're able to get our ICTR up to 22%, all right? The CTR, we're going to split test a lot of different landing pages and we managed to get it up to 31%. By the way, one more time, don't use these ICTRs, CTRs as a benchmark or anything. It's just an example. They're quite high, all right? Then we have the conversion rates. So on the offer page, there's not often a lot that you can do on an offer page. So if you're working with a affiliate network like AdCombo, they provide you with both offer pages and landing pages that you can choose from. So they have the opportunity to select different offer pages, which might be great because then you can split test these different offer pages. But 9 out of 10 times, if you are promoting an offer, you will most likely only have one offer page that you can use. Perhaps you can ask for a deep link, but that's about as far as it can go. All right. So the conversion rate, we're not going to be able to do a whole lot about it, except the overall flow, of course. So if you want to improve the conversion rate, then I definitely recommend you to look at the coherency of the flow. The more coherent the flow is, the better your conversion rate will go as well. All right, but let's say for this campaign, we actually are using an offer from AdCombo. So we still have the opportunity to split test a couple of their offer pages. Okay, so we're doing that. We're split testing the offer pages. We found a offer page that's performing a lot better than this 10% conversion rate with this lender. And so we are able to get our conversion rate up with 1%. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it will actually do quite a lot to your campaign, especially when you start to scale. The more numbers go in, the more that 1% matters, right? Okay, so with these changes, we increase the ICTR a bit, CTR, and the conversion rate, and we now have a ROI of 36.4%. Okay, we're still not spending our daily budget, so let's try it again. We're in a more healthier zone here, so let's try it again. So we're going to move it to 33 cents again, right? 33 cents and spending $7.50. Okay, so now we have 13.6% ROI, so we are still profitable and we're making $103. Great. However, what if you want to do it again? If you want to keep scaling, because we're still not spending that complete daily budget. All right. So then we would have to increase this a bit again, because right now, well, we didn't change it, but right now we're getting 60% win rate, right? Let's assume that's on this bit. All right, so then we would need to increase this again so that the win rate can be somewhere between 80-90% as long as we're not spending our complete daily budget, so that we can make even more profit. All right. So let's see. Let's see what happens. We're going to go to 40% and boom, ROI drops. So once again, if we want to scale this campaign any further, we need to optimize again. All right. So the ROI needs to be in a healthy zone before you start scaling. So let's see if we can squeeze any more ICTR out. Goes to 25. Same for the CTR, goes to 33. And the conversion rate, we're able to get 0.5% extra. All right. So now our ROI is in a healthy zone again, 43.7%. Now might be the time where we increase this to 40%. Our win rate becomes 80% or maybe 85 even, and we're now spending our complete daily budget. Perfect. All right. We're still having 18.5% ROI, which is fine because we're making more profit now. Okay. So that is how you would do that. How you would want to scale if you're not having a very high ROI. Then you want to make sure to optimize first so that these key performance indicators are completely as good as they can be, so that your ROI is high as possible, and then you might have the room to start scaling. But the very important, most important part of today, the golden rule, when you scale, ROI goes down, so that ROI needs to be in a healthy zone before we start scaling. So we discussed a lot today. Let's sum up a couple of takeaways. And if you have any questions, this is your chance to paste them in the comments so that I can answer your questions, or maybe look at a specific situation that you're in right now with one of your campaigns and see what we can do with the bid to make your campaign even better. So throw those in the comments right now, and then we can still discuss them. A few takeaways for today. Well, first of all, the very important one, the golden rule. When you scale, ROI goes down. All right. Some other key takeaways. If you are spending your complete daily budget, then do not increase the bids because it doesn't make sense. You're paying more for the same traffic, and you're still spending your complete daily budget, but you're getting less impressions. So it doesn't make any sense. Only increase a bit when you're not spending your complete daily budget. Okay? If you're not spending your completely daily budget and you have a very low win rate, in that case, you might want to increase the bid a little bit, because we do not want to make emotion-based decisions. We want to make data-driven decisions. So the more data, the more stable it is, and the less it will fluctuate. So we need as much data as we can. So if the win rate is low and we still have room in our daily budget, we're not spending our complete daily budget, we are going to slightly increase the bid. Don't do it too aggressively. So I would say 10-15% max. If you've been doing this day after day after day, you might want to go with 20%, but not much higher than that. Okay, so those are the key takeaways. And if you have a ROI that's not in a healthy zone, but you still want to scale, it's time to optimize a little bit more before you start scaling, so that we don't drag that campaign into a loss. All right. So I don't see any other questions coming in. So thank you very much for joining us today. And next week there will be another Affiliate Hustle live training. So make sure to be there, and then I will catch you next week.